Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Crashy, and today I wanted to touch and talk about kind of like the path to this quote perceivable pro thing that's going on here in Fortnite. And the reason I wanted to do this topic is because there's actually a Reddit thread that I found. I'll probably link it in the description below, and it basically was asking pro players, like, at what point did you know you were a pro? Like, at what point did you feel you were a pro? And this is from user CruxJT, and I'm going to go ahead and read my response that I left about 10 minutes ago. And I kind of want to just touch on this and talk about the like path to the perceivable pro, and share some thoughts on being pro in Fortnite, being a professional player in Fortnite. So this was my response. I said, I never felt good enough mechanically. Even now, I know there are a ton of better mechanically skilled players out there than myself out there. However, I've always been a strategist, and I find success through my decision making. I first felt, quote, pro after making it to the grand finals of PAX West, where a potential 900 players tried to qualify and only 100 made it, including some signed professionals that did and did not make it to the finals. When I got back home from PAX, I was greeted with an invite to the practice court, where I continued to grind. At first in prac court, it was super rough and I could barely hang with the players at all, but over time I started to see how the better players were playing and making decisions, and I adopted some of that into my own gameplay. I'm still a very weak solo player, so I work on my mechanics and ability to 1v1 players in early to mid game daily to try to find more success. Now, this specifically is how I feel like I got to my perceived and my titled pro status. It basically means I'm in practice court, I have a bit of an achievement behind me, and luckily I have kind of built myself to a point where I'm able to practice and queue snipes against some of the better players. And this is, like, for me, like the barrier of entry to being pro. Now, it always just depends on the scene or the person's perspective on what being a pro player is. And I want to read off Bumpa's comment, because I think this is really an important one as well. And he said, in terms of being a pro player, I'd say you're not a pro unless you're making enough money via prize money to support yourself, or you're signed to an org. The fact of the matter is that this game is very easy comparatively to play at a pro level. The true pros are people who can consistently play / qualify at events, because in a BR you have to play perfect to avoid death. Now, this is where I would say truly being a pro actually lies. So in that regard, I'm not really a professional player. I'm not doing this full time. I'm not making a living off of it. I'm not a signed professional player. And ultimately, this is something that I'm still grinding at. I just have a bit of a step up than a lot of players, and a bit of an accomplishment behind me that gives me like the entry pro level status. Now, the reason I want to talk about all this is because there are tons and tons of people trying to chase this, and I get, even myself, like at my size, I get asked a lot, like, how do you go pro? Like, what's the path? Like, where do we start? What do we do? And I think until recently I can understand that question, because there's not really a clear path. Epic doesn't really have a clear path put in place, other than just playing in some of their like cups and their qualifiers and showing up to things like PAX to try to break through and make a name for yourself. But those aren't super reliable. I mean, I would say that doing super well in like the Winter Royale obviously had thrown your name, into the finals. If you could do something like that or put yourself on that top 200 leaderboard, that was a really great start. But that's not something that you can do every day. So the first thing you have to do is you have to start scrimming. You have to get on FNPL. You have to get on the Atlantis Scrims NA Discord, which is the reason I'm starting to make this video, really, is because the now opened Atlantis Scrims NA Discord. We're going to talk about that here in a bit. So you have to start scrimming. You need to get yourself exposed to what competitive Fortnite is. And I am willing to say, or I'm going to go on ahead and say, that the biggest focus of competitive Fortnite is duos. So if you're going into competitions, if you're going into wanting to be a professional player, I think it's great to train yourself, and it's important to be a strong solo player, but I think you're going to hit a wall if you don't have a duo. So start somewhere. Pick a friend, someone that's also interested in competing. Find someone in some of these discords. Find someone like-minded to you, someone close to your age, or someone that has good chemistry with you as a person. It doesn't have to be good in-game chemistry right away, but you need to have someone that you can enjoy spending a lot of time with, and someone that you're going to naturally be spending a lot of time with because you're going to be in high stressful situations with this person. It's going to be someone that you're going to let down. They're going to be someone that lets you down in certain situations. When you lose a fight, when you go into a scrim, you need to have a good relationship with this person. So from that point, the future of competitive Fortnite, for the foreseeable future anyways, is going to be the Atlantis Scrims Discord. The Atlantis Scrims NA Discord, obviously I'm talking to mostly NA here because this has kind of been where I've been harbored, and obviously I'm a North American player. This is going to be the Discord that actually will allow you to practice and climb your way up and make a name for yourself. Now, the thing about scrim discords and leaderboards and things like this is that it's a means to an end until something else pops up from Epic, like a big qualifier, a big event, a World Cup announcement, something like that, where you can clearly see oh, okay, I need to be on my computer, Saturday at noon to play for 5 hours to try to qualify, something like that. So it's a means to an end, but it's where you get practice, and it's where you begin your journey of growing yourself as a player. And I think that's really important. It's, the only thing you can do to be prepared for these moments. And that's what scrimming is. It's preparation for the opportunity. So get in the Atlantis Scrims in a Discord. I'm going to link the post, the Twitter link that actually is the announcement from Atlantis. And the reason this Discord is so good is because it's an open Discord that is bringing everyone together. It's going to be the most stacked lobbies when they start running games. It's going to be the path to achieving the perceived pro status. It's going to be where you can truly harbor your talent with like-minded individuals. But again, my point is that there is a perceived pro status, and that's where you want to go. Everybody wants to get there because you need to get there in order to advance and level up past that. But there's also a very notable and recognizable consistent pro status as well. So if you're trying to live that dream, especially for some of you young guys, do the work. Go on ahead and find yourself a partner, get in these scrims, and put in the time when you have it, after your homework, after, you get home, after you eat dinner, whatever the case may be, and just grind it out. So that's what you got to do. The way that you make it in esports is preparation for the opportunity. The opportunity will come, and you just have to be prepared and deliver on it. So that's my take. That's what I wanted to talk about today. It was really a focus on the perception of being pro, my path specifically, where it all leads, and what you do. And the biggest thing that I can bring up again is the Atlantis Scrims in a Discord, and I'm really excited to get started playing in there whenever they start running games. So get involved. Now's the time, and I'll see you guys, out on the island. So take it easy. Have a good one. Does the beat take you over? You just can't